All right, what's up, college football fans, quarterback fans? Welcome to another QB Spotlight video. In this video, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders and his game against Nebraska. We're going to break it down in a bit more detail and talk about just the performance overall, what he did well at, what he did well that we thought he would do well, and then some stuff that we were wrong about, right? Some stuff that we thought they would attack Nebraska in this ways, but we end up being wrong about that. But we'll get into all that, and we're also going to watch one quick clip of Sanders at the very end that kind of demonstrating everything we're talking about in this video. But if this is your first time tuning in, thank you sincerely. We know there's a bunch of great college football content creators out there, and so we thank you for tuning in. We're just a big quarterback hub, quarterback breakdowns like this, previews, recaps, current and former quarterbacks that come on the podcast and just talk the quarterback position. So if you're in that type of stuff, consider liking and subscribing. It does help. So with that said, Shedeur Sanders' performance against Nebraska. My biggest takeaway, if I had to recap everything as a whole, was just finding a way to get it done, right? Finding and adjusting your game plan, adjusting your style to a different style to be able to beat Nebraska. Like right off the bat, they weren't able to do the exact same stuff they did against TCU, right? And they didn't have success right off the bat offensively. Now I know, Nebraska's offense did not do their defense any favors, and towards the end they just kept giving the ball over, which of course helped Colorado's offense. But even without that, Colorado's offense started clicking in the second half and really started rolling. I think it just took them time to find some answers. It took them time to find answers against this Nebraska's defense, which was actually really, really good. I think we got to give Nebraska's defense a lot of credit. They played well, they played tough, and again, Nebraska or Colorado had to find different answers. So if you look at Shedeur and his numbers, PFF actually graded him higher against Nebraska than they did against TCU. Now, it was minimal, right? Not a big difference, but still pretty impressive. Let's look at his numbers downfield shots. 4-6 of 20 yards downfield or more. And this did a really good job. So they did a good job taking the shots downfield, especially as the game kind of went on. But that was largely because they just kept pressing on. I think adjusting his playing style was the number one takeaway that I had, and that you saw him use his legs a lot more, not necessarily to run, but to escape pressure, to buy more time, because Nebraska was getting pressure on him, right? Nebraska did their front, their D-line did a really good job getting pressure on him. So with that said, Sanders adjusted his playing style. He had to use his legs to buy time, but also he had to use the whole field. If you remember against TCU, 410 yards of his 510 yards were inside the numbers. They did middle of the field, right? And he did a good job using middle of the field against Nebraska, but like we talked about in the preview video, Nebraska was going to try to probably take that away. And so he actually had more yards passing outside the numbers than inside the numbers this game. He had 189 inside the numbers and 204 outside the numbers. So he did a really, really good job distributing the ball to all areas of the field. Yeah, he did good against the middle of the field. It was 17-21, right? Awesome stuff. But Nebraska was at times taking that away, and so Sanders had to go outside the numbers and did a great job there, right? So adjusting his play style, able to take shots, not just middle of the field, but outside the field. And then another big takeaway I had was he was 28 of 37 for 356 yards, not using play action. 28 of 37. I thought they were going to use a lot of play action against this Nebraska defense, but since the run game really wasn't working at all, the play action didn't have a big effect. He was 14 of 15 against TCU last week in the play action, but this week against Nebraska, they were only 3 of 6. So play action really wasn't an option for them, so they had to just do straight back throws. And what that led to was demonstrating his ability again to just read defenses, read coverages. You're going to see in the clip we're going to watch, Nebraska drops 8, and they only bring 3. Good job blocking up front by Colorado's offensive line in this clip, but it's Sanders' ability to stay in the pocket, see the defense, and deliver a good ball. Sometimes it can be hard as a quarterback when they're dropping 7, dropping 8, and there's a lot of field being covered. But Sanders did a really, really good job, especially when the defense was dropping back into coverage, right? So Nebraska tried a few different things at them, had success early, but eventually Colorado was able to take charge and kind of establish their will and their dominance. You heard Coach Prime talk about that the other day. So big takeaways from Shedeur and his performance was, one, adjusted play style. right? You adjust the play style how? Well, use his legs a bit more to buy time, to create some plays, to improvise. You saw him do that. The deep ball to Travis Hunter in the second half, and of course the 2-point conversion that wasn't. But you saw him use his legs a lot more to just buy time to set up the passing. You saw him not rely on play action. You saw him go straight drop back. The defense had 7 or 8. He just picked them apart. We're going to watch that clip here in a second. And then you did see him push the ball downfield as well, which always, helps an offense. So another great game for Shedeur. I think 390-something yards passing, and 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, something like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and watch this quick clip of Shedeur. I think it kind of demonstrates what he did really well yesterday. Again, Nebraska's dropping 8. He's sitting in the pocket, reading the defense, boom, throwing it to the hole. So again, if you like this video, like, subscribe, all that stuff, it does help. But yeah, let's go ahead and watch this video, and then we'll end it after that. Here's the video. So here is this one clip we'll watch of Shedeur. This is a 1st and 10. They're up 20-7 at this point, going into their end zone. Right, they got 30 yards here. So it's a good example of Nebraska only bringing 3. So it's a great job up front protecting, right? But again, you have the advantage. You only bring in 3, but keeping the focus on Shedeur. It's a good job of him staying in the pocket, reading the defense. Nebraska drops 8 into coverage. And he does a good job staying in the pocket and just dissecting the defense and throwing a good ball. So he's going to throw the receiver at the top of the screen. You can barely see it here. Again, I apologize for the broadcast footage. But he's going across the field. Boom, boom, boom. And Shedeur does a good job with that. So again, Nebraska just brings 3. Again, I have to go slow because it's broadcast, so I do apologize. But you can see 3 here. 8 defenders dropping back, looking at the field. Right now, boom, he's looking here. This is where the ball is going to go. Backer, DB, ball is going over here. About to throw a really good ball here, right here. Ball comes out. Boom, right. Good job, about 15 yards downfield or so, but a good job by Shedeur reading the defense. Just an example of him staying in the pocket, being able to read the defense, even when they drop 8, and throw a good ball there. So again, a good example by Shedeur, and just a great game overall. And if you like this type of quarterback content, please consider subscribing and liking the video. It really does help the channel grow, and we'll keep following Shedeur and his progress, and keep chugging along. All right, thanks for watching. Peace.